The NFL season is here, and the Lockdown Defense Sports Network welcomes you to another NFL season. We are here to give you a front row seat to the pulse of the NFL. Join us every Tuesday night as we break down the latest news, dissect the hottest headlines, and fire off fearless predictions that might shape the future of the league. From the locker room drama to game-changing plays, we're just not watching football, we're living it. As the entire hit squad with young RG Robert Garcia, Coach Mike Dub, the real AG Alex Givens, and yours truly, Coach Defense, joins forces with the NFL Nation Live crew, Ref Guru, Violator, and the Saudi pirate himself, Captain Jack Rackham. So buckle up, because this isn't your average recap. This is the Lockdown Blitz, where the takes are bold, the insights are gritty, and the passion runs deep. Let's go. To all my heavy hitters, the Lockdown Defenders, welcome to the Lockdown Blitz, Week 14. I'm your host, Coach Defense. You are joined in to the Lockdown Defense Sports Network. Here with me today is the hit squad, young RG Robert Garcia, real AG Alex Givens, Coach Mike Dub. We got Captain Jack Rackham in the building, Violator himself. And I think we lost Ref Guru, but he'll be back in a minute. There he is.
We got him.
And we got Ref Guru in the building. Gentlemen, what is happening?
It's all good, I think.
Indeed, you're right. Indeed.
Can I ask, was I the only one that had on their screen your video, or your browser failed to play the video?
No, mine did the same thing.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that rim shots aside, that I wasn't the only one that had that.
Yeah, inside joke for a backstage moment. But yes, I didn't get that, thankfully, on my end, because last time I got that, it kicked me out of the whole stream. So yeah,
That's
hopefully hopefully we don't have no technical difficulties out there. But we're going to get to it. Oh, man, Week 14 is here. Week 13 is in the books. We are 5 games left in the NFL season. And, gentlemen, we still don't know a damn thing.
Nope.
That's all I can really say. We don't know anything. We don't know anything at all. But
that's not the truth, Coach. I'm going to tell you one thing we do know. We do know 3 teams have been eliminated from playoff contention this year.
Well, I don't want to leave with bad news, but I mean, that is true. That is true.
But that is true, right?
Yeah.
You said we don't know a damn thing. I know one thing. I'm already looking at the mock drafts. Let's put it that way.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough, indeed. Well, hey, man, let's go around a real quick temperature check. How's everybody feeling? Young RG, Robert Garcia, good brother. How you feeling? Welcome back. What's going on over there in your world? Nice jersey, by the way.
Feeling great, man. Oh, appreciate that. Yeah, man, I'm feeling great. Obviously, coming off a no divisional win. Feeling as good as you can off a bye week.
Love it. I love it. Ref Guru, good sir. How you feeling there?
I got your bye week shot, right?
Ref Guru, good sir. How you feeling out there? What's going on with you?
It's all good. Southern California, we got some of the rain over with, I think. So, it's all good. I think I don't think the Chiefs are out of this thing, though.
Yeah, we're going to get to it. We're going to definitely talk about that and a bunch of other things. I definitely want to cover that. Definitely want to know where everybody's thoughts are. Our resident Chiefs fan, I'm going to him next. The real AG Alex Givens. How you doing, sir?
Boy, I hope you're right, Ref. But, I feel like a broken record at this point. After these games, it's just like, hey, well, it's put up or shut up time. And now it quite literally is. So, I think I've said it for 3 straight weeks now. But, now it is. So, I know we'll get into it later. But, I'm jealous that Ref's dealing with Southern California. I'm dealing with 26 degrees and snow. So,
Yeah,
a little different lifestyle.
Yeah, a little 34 degrees of freezing rain up here. So yeah, we definitely get the vibes of that. Sure, for sure. Yes, indeed. Coach Mike Dub, good brother. How you feeling out there? What's going on in your world?
Hanging in there, man. No complaints. Coming off a good Thanksgiving week. Hope everybody had a good, restful Thanksgiving break. Or Thanksgiving holiday, I should say. Yeah, I mean, listen, the season's going along. We're just taking things as it goes at this point. We came away with a loss on Sunday night, but it was a valiant effort. We put up a fight. At this point, we're just trying to find some anything positive we can find. So, I'm in the same boat as you, Captain Jack.
Indeed. Speaking of Captain Jack, how you feeling out there, good sir? Outside of perusing mock drafts early in 2025.
Well, hey, I can say this: it's great to be a Florida Gator. Say it's great to be a Florida Gator. It's great to see a friggin' football game that's worthwhile. I was there in the swamp watching my Gators, and yes, I am biased. My Gators kicked that Florida State half-asses, that's the semi-holes, that ass this Saturday night. Come on, people, you got to get that joke, man.
No, we do. It's funny.
Semi-holes is great.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I haven't ever heard that one before. That's a good one.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm teaching you more stuff tonight. There you go. But yeah, as far as the other game, I actually drove from Gainesville to Moody Air Force Base that night, and then to Atlanta, and it took 7 hours to get to Atlanta to check out the Black Hole ATL Club. 7 hours on Sunday. I got there at halftime. So
nice.
For folks that are driving, Thursday, like after Thanksgiving, remember that there's more traffic on the roads. And I did plan early, but I still didn't make it. So anyway, great to be here with the crew, and I'm all full of vim and vigor as normally.
I love it. Violator, the good man himself, the man, the myth, the legend. How you doing, good sir? What's going on in your world?
Hey, I'm feeling blessed, man. I had a great weekend of college football plus NFL football. And I'm full of food, family, and football, so I'm ready to talk and chatter with you guys tonight. Let's get it.
I love it. Yes, indeed. So yes, we got a great show for you lined up here today. Of course, as always, we're gonna get into some headlines. We'll talk the ref real quick. We got some predictions to make. We got a jam-packed show, so let's top it off right here, right now. Let's start off with our normal segment. We like to get going with ref and talk about some controversial calls this week, to say the least. But let's get into our first segment called Ask the Ref. So I got some, I guess you can say, top level questions for ref, and I wanted to get his synopsis on it, and that's in this space. Maybe some textbook definitions, and then we'll get into his opinion on things that happened over the weekend. So for starters, let's talk about I guess we can label it as the criteria or the quote unquote definition of defensive pass interference, or DPI as they like to call it. So ref, what is your rule book, textbook definition and criteria that you look at from a DPI perspective when it comes down to officiating football games?
There isn't one. Next question.
Great answer.
There's three primaries that we're looking for.
Okay.
Defensive back that has forearm into the stomach or chest area of a receiver, trying to push them away from getting to the ball. Okay. The second one is essentially, running over the receiver, and or which can be excused, if they're looking at the ball, right? If the defensive back is looking back towards the ball, he can't obviously also be looking at the receiver. There could be collisions there. That's a judgment call depending on the circumstances. We can get on into the nuances of that if we want to.
Okay.
And then the third one is some sort of other restriction. defensive backs grabbing an arm, grabbing a jersey, grabbing a towel, grabbing the wrist, pulling the forearm down, some sort of something that keeps the receiver from being able to, get in position to be able to make the catch of the ball. So the generalities seems pretty simple until you start having, 2 or 3 guys going downfield at NFL speeds, balls in the air, and all kinds of stuff happens, and you have to make those split-second decisions. Now, if the official who has the receivers as their primary key, primarily, if you will, field judge and side judge, if they're doing their job, they've been watching those receivers ever since the snap. They've been watching them in the 5-yard chicken fight zone, and they've been watching them all down the field. So they've had a chance to observe all of this before the ball even got there. So by the time the ball gets there, you have what it really amounts to then an escalation. So you've been watching them all the way down the field, and you've had a little bit of time to see, is the ball coming our way? And if it is, then you're going to be taking a little bit harder look at what they're doing. And so you just have to gauge that activity going down the field. There could be other factors as well, but those are generally what we're looking for. An arm bar, some sort of restriction, or the defensive back, essentially, if you will, not playing the ball with his head is towards the receiver and not towards the ball.
Okay. So does face guarding as well play into that criteria?
Not really. It used to. Face guarding used to be a thing. But the problem was that the face guarding got its start because the defensive back, would put his hand up in front of the receiver's face, allegedly trying to keep him from being able to see the ball. Then they got more creative. They're like, well, we're not going to use our hands. We're going to use part of our body, shoulder, arm, left big toe, whatever we can get in there. And so face guarding kind of became not really hard to really define or defend as a play. It became almost non-existent because there was people doing so many other things. So they basically just grouped all of the things that include face guarding with the hand to face guarding anything, the body, cheerleader, pom-pom, whatever, and grouped it into not playing the ball.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. Good stuff. Yes, indeed. So I guess a follow-up question to that would be, how does the catchability of the ball play into it?
It used to be a factor, as did the old force out, right? Where they would say, oh, well, the receiver would have caught the ball if he wasn't forced out. Well, how do you know if he would have or not? And so between the force out and the ball catchable, not catchable, they've basically taken those things out of the ability to call pass interference. However, I think that although whether the ball is catchable or not really isn't a determining factor, I think there's a lot with regards to why that was a thing back in the day that still lingers. And I think for some officials, especially the older officials, if you will, still use some of that in making a judgment. I know I did when I played. That doesn't mean you can't have pass interference. But if the ball really is headed towards Section 308, row 17, seat 42, I don't think I have pass interference. You also, by the way, don't have pass interference if the ball is tipped, but we all know that.
Right.
But as a matter of public record, if you will, whether it's catchable or not is not a factor in whether or not you would throw a flag for defensive pass interference. I think it could be, but there's so many factors there that I think taking it out and not making it part of the criteria is just one less thing the officials have to decide. It's like, okay, I had an arm bar, but the ball wasn't catchable. I had an arm bar, but the ball was catchable. Well, what do you have then? Do you have interference or don't you? So just take catch or no catch out of it and rule just on the arm bar, if you will, and make that the determination. So I think it cleaned the game up a little bit. But I think there's still times when I've seen a flag and I've gone, that ball's nowhere near anybody. And so I think it should be a factor, but it's not. And I think if it was, how do you enforce that? So publicly, it's not a factor, but I think in some cases it for some officials, it probably still plays a factor.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I will preface this by saying that YouTube gave me a warning last week about our showing of clips in the large space. So we don't have any film to break down, but just from I guess your general memory perspective, 2 calls that I had in mind in regards to people had a lot to say about in whether it was or was not a call. First and foremost was, I think actually both of these were for the Colts game. Now I think about it.
Yeah.
The Colts game against it was actually the
Houston.
Texans receiver going against Kenny Moore.
Yeah.
And they called PI on Kenny Moore in a critical part of the game. If you want to speak on the criticality or on the timing of the game as well, that's something we can touch on. But what was your take on the Kenny Moore foul? And then we'll talk about the Alex Pierce foul as well, because there was a catchable, non-catchable conversation in that particular space where they called DPI as well. So what was your take on the Kenny Moore DPI against Xavier Hutchinson in the Texans Colts game?
Well, I saw that one, and I don't think that's DPI in flag football. I don't know what they were looking at. I don't know why there was a flag there. Now, the Clay Martin's definition after the pool, with the pool reporter, was that there was the ball was in the air and there was DPI at the top of the route, which essentially means as soon as the receiver left the line of scrimmage, if you will. I didn't see anything at the top of anything, so I can't defend that call. I don't think it was a good call. I think there's probably, out of 18 officials, 17 officials would probably agree that it wasn't the call. The only one that would agree that it was the call was the guy that threw the flag. And I honestly don't understand why that was a flag. Okay. I don't see any way that we can defend that call.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. And Alec Pierce, I want to get his name wrong. Alec Pierce foul. He was running down the sideline. He had to step on the receiver. The receiver kind of fell down and took him with him, and the ball was thrown, to your point, in row 306 in the luxury boxes. So a lot of people, including Chris Sims, was up in arms about the fact that they didn't think it was a DPI because it was uncatchable. Yeah. So what was your take on that? I know you kind of explained the idea that was kind of not a thing anymore, but
yeah, I don't recall that I saw that one. We probably have to review the video on that. But based on what I think we're saying, I really don't understand why that would have been defensive pass interference. However, if their preferences, if you will, say, catchable, not catchable isn't a factor, then you can't argue that it wasn't DPI. But okay. I think it doesn't send a good message if and when the broadcasters or someone who's not in the know says, well, that shouldn't be DPI because it's not catchable. And I'm like, well, yeah, maybe back in the day it shouldn't have been. And I think you could have defended it wasn't because of that. But if the public statements that the NFL ops is putting out to the coaches and everybody else that catchable, not catchable is not a factor, then I think you have to call DPI. How could you not? Well, what else would you defend it as? We'd have to probably look at the actual play, determine what the contact was that required that. But I don't think the fans should get all wound up about whether it was catchable or not catchable as part of whether or not there wasn't a flag. Whether or not there wasn't a flag should have been determined by something else.
Got it. Okay. Good stuff. All right. Okay. I did put in the DPI call in the chat if you want to check it out just for some context, but I meant to actually at you on that on Twitter about that, but I forgot. I did the other one, but I forgot that one, but I did save it. So I appreciate that clarity on that. Guys, you have any questions about those particular calls before we talk about field goals?
Nope.
Okay. All right. I mean,
not on those calls, but
yeah.
I was curious, Ref. Talking about considering making a call or no call, is there any weight given to like the receiver and the corner safety? Both kind of fighting for position.
Those are all subjective determinations that have to be made in the moment.
Yeah.
Those players all have a legitimate right to the ball. But yes, there's a preference towards the offense, particularly with regards to dual possession, if you will. But the defensive back's probably not going to get the benefit of a doubt if he arrives early. The bang bang plays, probably going to get no flag, if you will. So to answer your question, is there preference? Not from a who do we like, who do we don't like standpoint. There would be a preference towards the philosophy, which is the offense. Although they both have the right to the ball, the offense really can't be impeded from catching the ball. So I don't know if that really answers your questions, but I would say the officials are going to look at that first. In other words, did the receiver just not get it done, or did they get feet tangled or something like that? Or did the defensive back commit something that we've talked about that warrants DPI or potentially arrived early, right? Hits him in the back before the ball gets there, or there's some other kind of contact. Where you get into trouble, which is the other part of your question, I think, though, too, is when there's three or more people involved. Let's just take a scenario where you have one receiver and two defensive backs, and maybe a corner or safety involved there. And particularly when they're by the sidelines, the field judge or side judge is going to have to get help from the back judges in the middle of the field with regards to contact, because there's no way that one person, just the field judge or side judge, is going to be able to determine what all three players are doing. They could maybe make a decision on two of the three, but they're going to have a look over to the back judge to see if the back judge has any help with regards to whether or not any part of a DPI penalty is warranted there. And you'll see them look at each other, communicate as to whether they do or they don't. In some cases, the back judge might even have had a better angle than the field judge. And if that back judge has seniority, if you will, over the field judge might have thrown a flag, and he'll come over. The back judge would come over, and this has happened before, and say, if you've got a flag for DPI, it's not DPI. And they'll essentially say no flag, or they picked up the flag. So, but I wouldn't say there's a specific preference. We're not taught to look at a specific preference, except to give the offense benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
Fair enough.
All right. He gives us clear, concise answers. Hard to give a rebuttal or a refute or
yeah.
Well, and I'm not gonna bitch or anything. I just am curious from the ref point of view what all they look at, and I mean it sounds like it's a lot.
Yeah, because you have contact, you got potential contact at the snap, you have potential contact down the field. Then you have to decide did it have an impact on the play? And when you've got plays over the middle that are downfield, you've got a field judge who's 40 feet away and a back judge who's 30 or 40 feet away having to make those calls. Maybe the line judge has a peek at what happened, but in the old days when we had the umpire in the middle of the field, as soon as the ball was released, they would turn around and look downfield in order to, basically you had it boxed in. It plays over the middle that were downfield, you had boxed in because you had the umpire turn, you had a field judge, a side judge, and a back judge, and you had to play down the middle boxed in. They don't have that now. So the middle of the field, particularly when the side or backs of the players are facing three of the four officials, it's very difficult sometimes to determine what you have over the middle because you got no help from the umpire like you used to in the old days. And I think that's an unfortunate mechanic that suffers in the middle of the field like that. And I think we see some plays sometimes where we're like, how could that not be DPI? Well, it's not DPI if you didn't see it. Now, did they not see it because they're not very good? Well, we could argue that. But mechanics has oftentimes a lot to do with what we see and what we don't see on the field and what the fans will see or not see from the stands or from television. That creates controversy. And when you have replay assists, it says, well, we really can't do anything. I throw up my hands going, why not? If you're gonna essentially take the umpire out of position and put him in a place where he doesn't belong and doesn't help the game, then use some technology to fix it. So we live in this world where it's, plays aren't reviewable, or replay assist only has, 10 seconds to determine. All this stuff's nonsense. So we suffer on some of these plays because they're not administered right. They're not officiated right. We don't use the technology well enough to make it right. And that's frustrating.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Okay. Any more questions about DPI before we move on?
Yeah, so you guys get on me for double entendre, and I did not even say a word about DPI.
Wow.
Okay.
And total reversal. This time we were all thinking defensive pass interference, and your mind is completely utter. Out there in left field. Come on back in, Cap. Come on back into the bullpen.
I ain't in left field. You deliberately left that crap up there just to taunt me.
I got what if there's any other questions, we'll take them. But I got one for you guys. I think that should come out this week because no one else is going to talk about it, and our fans here on this show are going to get some really cool insight. I think it was who Pittsburgh played this week.
It's
Buffalo.
They didn't play.
Was it
They
Buffalo?
didn't play this
Yeah.
week. They didn't play this week. They got their asses kicked.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
yeah, I think it was.
They were out there.
I think it was
Buffalo.
Pittsburgh Buffalo. It was
It
some
was.
game. I think it's
It
Pittsburgh
was.
Buffalo, where there was a penalty after scoring play, and they assessed the penalty on the kickoff when everybody else thought it should have been on the extra point. You guys
Right.
remember that?
Yeah.
So let me tell you what happened. All right. After any down, but particularly scoring plays, but after any down, before the ball is spotted, which means the umpires, or it could be any official, but usually the umpire, sometimes the referee, will get the ball, go in, set it down, and then go back to their respective position, right? That's that seems very benign to the fan, but the official getting hold of the ball and setting it down before the next play is extraordinarily important, because after the previous play has been ruled over, okay, whistles are plays over by rule, so we blow whistles. The next play is not considered started until the official has placed the ball. So look at this scenario. There's a touchdown, okay, and a personal foul. Okay. The question really is, when did that foul take place? If it took place before they spotted the ball for the extra point, that's essentially a foul after the previous play. So therefore, it would be enforced on the succeeding spot, which would be the extra point. If the ball was spotted and then there's before the ball's been spotted by the, let's say, umpire, but before the snap there's a personal foul, well, that play hasn't happened yet. The other play's over because the ball's been spotted. So now if you have a personal foul, where do you assess the penalty? Right? Because the previous down's completely over because the official has spotted the ball. So we have essentially a start of a new play, but nothing's happened yet, but we end up with a personal foul. Where do you spot the ball? Well, in this particular instance, it's nuanced that the offending team has the choice of the extra point or the kickoff. They gave the Buffalo Bills the choice of the extra point or the kickoff, and they backed Pittsburgh up on the kickoff. NFL Ops is saying, well, the technicality of the official spotting the ball should not have factored into whether or not Buffalo had a choice. But the reality is, with the way the rule is written, it absolutely does. And so the officials got it right. The TV people are saying, well, it should have been assessed on the kickoff. Yes, if the foul occurred after the scoring play before the official spotted the ball for the extra point. Once an official spots a ball, regardless of, in this case, extra point or third down or whatever, the next that previous play is now, quote, officially over. It was technically over when they blew the whistle, but it wasn't officially over until the ref spotted the ball. So once the ball's been spotted, nothing can change the previous down. In terms of a penalty enforcement, it has to be on the succeeding spot, in which case then for this one, what was it? The extra point or the kickoff? Well, it's that's in limbo because the ball was spotted. And then there was the foul, so they gave the Bills a choice, and that was technically Brad Allen got it right. That was technically the way to do it. NFL ops is saying, well, we may revise that. That's fine for 2026, but 2025, officiating crew got it right.
Like it. Okay.
I never knew that.
I never did either.
Spotting the ball starts the timeline, huh?
That's and it's not the play clock. The play clock stops when the previous play is over. But you've always said, well, why does get the umpire, especially when they're in a hurry up? The umpire is trying to get in and get out, and he's trying to get through players and all that, and it seems to slow the game down. But until they come up with some other process, an official has to spot the ball because that's an important factor in actually when the next play is actually enforced with regards to a penalty.
Okay.
I got a question for you, Ref, and not trying to be a dick here, but I learned something watching in college football when Lane Kiffin had an aneurysm on a play that there was a call, and it was I can't remember if it was on a kick.
Uh-huh.
And he had an aneurysm on the kick, and he wanted it to be enforced. And the question was, had the ball hit the back of the net as it went through the uprights? Is that something else that is that only in college, or is that in the pros as well? I just wanted to ask.
That's a good question. And welcome to the 200 different rules between being a college official and an NFL official. In college, that's actually a thing. In NFL, as soon as that ball crosses the crossbar, if you will, everything's over. It used to be that in college, it wasn't over till it hit the net. Now, no, it's the same in college. As soon as the ball crosses the bar, whatever happens after that is something else. It doesn't have to do anything else but get over that crossbar. Doesn't have to hit the ground.
I'm glad you said that, because the schmuck that was the official reviewer on that show said it was when the ball hits the net. And guess who the schmuck was, Ref?
Oh, gee, I don't know. Gene Sterator?
Ding, 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 ding. I'm glad you said it.
Lucky guess.
In fact, they changed that. They changed that a long time ago. But in fact, because I've been on the field, right? So as a back judge, field judge, when you're under the goalpost there, as soon as that ball crosses the goalpost, whistles blast, because they don't want any curricular activity. So essentially, you're letting the teams know play's over, if you will. So yeah, as soon as that ball crosses the crossbar, if you will, it doesn't have it could cross the crossbar, and Bewitched could wiggle her nose, and the ball could stay suspended in the air till the end of time, and the play's still over. So.
Okay.
What if it went back through the upright?
If it what?
Ricochets back.
Right.
Oh well, there's all kinds of things it could do.
Okay, but they're just saying, because when you say crosses the cross, if it's wide left or wide right?
Well, that's the upright, not the crossbar. But
well, that's what I'm saying. So what if it crosses the crossbar, but it's wide left and wide right?
It's still over.
I wanted that confirmed.
Yeah, whistle blast. The net back there, his only job nowadays is to advertise for Allstate and catch the ball.
You're in good hands. You know?
Yeah, not according to Gene F'd up Sterator. I want to make sure that's out.
That's the index card. Just call him Index.
Yeah. He's been out quite a while now, and I think maybe needs to go back to the rule book.
He wasn't even up on the rules when he was officiating.
Yeah, well, I won't argue that point. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So real quick, Rap, before you get out of here, what is your take, or what is your official ruling on the field goal it seemed like the Texas and Colts game just had a myriad of wrong things happen in this game, but the whole missed field goal, what is your take on that?
I don't think we have an angle to know whether it was or it wasn't good. You talking about was there a field goal or was it extra point? Was there one of each?
It was extra point. But
Okay.
regardless, what happened to the angle from the ref's perspective, like from the ground up? Remember to use that angle with the ground up?
Yeah, so that's the problem that I have with this whole thing. First of all, I didn't see an angle that proved that it was good or that it wasn't. But being on the field, you're told, you're the field judge, back judge are under the goalpost, under the upright, and you're supposed to look straight up so that you can tell whether the ball, is inside or outside the uprights. Well, you're supposed to be a geometry major, and that upright is supposed to extend all the way to infinity. You're supposed to imagine that goalpost being 600, that upright being 465 feet, and you should be able to tell whether, by being a geometry major, be able to tell whether the ball is good or not. Well, this is one of the areas where I think technology fails us, because when you're under there, that's, NFL officials are pretty good. When you're under there, though, and you're looking straight up, I can tell you that your neck doesn't like being in that position, and it can mess with your eyes. Who walks around like this all day? I don't know anybody that walks around like this all day. If you walked around like that all day, you'd probably be really good at this. But I found it very frustrating to be told that I have to stand under the goalpost and look straight up and determine that a ball that goes right over the top of the upright is good or not. Very frustrating. If the back judge, I think it was the back judge, said it was good, until we have a better angle that proves that it wasn't, all we can do is go with it that it's good. What used to frustrate me is that the referee, who's in the middle of the freaking field at the other end, doesn't give us a look as to what he sees right down the freaking middle of the field. Yeah. He leaves it to two guys under the goalpost doing this to try to decide if the ball's good or not. This is insane. And I don't understand this. It's the worst. They look at each other like the second worst.
Yeah, that's gonna say it's my favorite part when they look at each other like, "What are you gonna do?"
Exactly.
I don't know. Well, who's shooting first?
Yeah, and you know what here it gets even more insane. When you're in the as an official, here's how it goes. If it's down, this is what they teach you. I don't know what the NFL decides to do or not, because they're all about optics with regards to, do they look good? But in college, particularly or high school, whatever, if it goes down the middle, you both signal good. If it's off to one side or the other, they don't even want the far side official even signaling what they have or they don't have. It's all on the one official. If the ball's over here, as to whether it's good or not, they don't even want that other official on the far side even signaling. So basically what you do is you have two officials under the goalpost. When the ball goes right down the middle, exactly what was said there, what do? They look at each other and go, yeah, it's good. Let's both put our hands up. Well, duh. Everybody and the All-State net knows that it was good. Right. What we want are the questionable ones, and we don't have a good mechanic or the technology to do that. And it's probably the second most frustrating mechanic I think that we have out there. And it doesn't get called out enough to be a problem, but it is. And when you have a situation like that in Indianapolis, where in this particular case they'll argue that, well, the extra point didn't matter because it was a 3-point win. Well, go tell that when you get to the tiebreaker, which is most points scored or whatever. I mean, Indianapolis beats Houston by 4 points, and Houston beats Indianapolis by 3 points. Well, it was only 2 points really because of the extra point, but now it's 3. So it's a nightmare. I don't think the mechanic is good. I don't think we have a good enough angle to see whether it was good or not. I don't think it was good. I can't prove that it wasn't. We got to go with what the back judge on the field said, and until we have other evidence. But this is one area where I think they could really use some technology and they don't, and it's frustrating.
Hey, I got something for you. I swear this is not BS, okay? Because they got the chip in the ball now, right?
Yeah.
If they have the chip on, and it's on both ends of the tip, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
If you put a laser. I like the way how I say that. A laser, like a freaking laser, at the top of the uprights.
Yeah.
If there is a chip that goes outside of that laser,
it turns red.
They can something, Cap. That might
or
be
it turns green.
$1 billion idea.
If it's good, it turns green. If it turns, it's not. It turns red.
As long as there is a portion, as long as there is a portion that's sticking in from the laser, it's good. If none of it is upright through the laser, then guess what? It's not good.
Yeah, there's a lot of things they could do they don't do, and the Colts would buy into this argument. Houston would be like, "Oh, it's not that big a deal."
Of course,
right?
I think the NFL is still stuck in, we're trying to keep the game old school, but we don't really want to, and the officiating, like we've said before, guys, just has not kept up. And until they get better training, bad officials, whether they're part-time or full-time, are still bad officials. And so until the training improves,
I'm gonna patent that. You guys are here. Yeah. You guys are here. That is my idea. I'm gonna send it. Can you do the clip
it right now?
Can you do the clip of this saying it came out of my mouth and not that a-hole up there?
Hey, no one cares about that in patent law. It's whoever secures it first.
Right.
Okay. Let me pick my nose there, Alex. You're right here. Okay.
All I want is some freaking footballs with some lasers on their freaking tips. All right.
I can tell you that for a fact that all aspects of technology that could be implemented to help the game and or the officials is and has been discussed. It's all about money, cost, optics, acceptance. Things take time, and
Well, we'll just do one thing. We'll give it to the UFL, and once the UFL has success with it in the offseason, then they'll adopt it in the preseason, then it will take off. That's how it works now. Every technology thing that they implemented here recently has come from the UFL. So we'll give it to them. I'll call Dwayne Johnson. I'll get him on the phone. Yeah, we'll get it done.
Hey, we got robo-umps in major leagues next year.
I'm saying. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. All right, gentlemen. Is anything else you have a Ref Guru before we let him take his leave?
Give me a freaking laser.
Indeed.
Ref amazing as always.
Yes, indeed. Yes, deliver it as always, man. I mean, you batting 1,000 here, sir. I can't say much enough about it. You're definitely doing your thing here, and we appreciate all you do for the channel. And we'll definitely get with you next week on some more topics. I'm sure there will be more controversial calls.
Yeah, and if there's something out there that pops up, hit me up on Twitter. I'll try to answer it there, or we'll bring it to the show, either one. I don't want to tip off the fans too much because we want them to watch the show, but we could tease this little something here and there.
A little bit. Give them a little nugget. Give them a little nugget, then they'll watch the show. There you go.
The last time I said I was going to give them a tease, I said, "Oh no, you won't."
See? Leave it a cap. Yeah. All right, good. So we appreciate it now, and we'll see you down the road, ladies and gentlemen. Ref Guru. All right, good sir. We'll see you down the road.
Good to be with you.
All right, gentlemen, let's get into some headlines.
Hit Squad headlines.
All right, so it is a lot going on in the football world here right now, right at this moment. It can't stop, won't stop. It is all abound here. It is all abound. We're going into week 14, and things still haven't panned out in a sense. In 93, we're going to get to here. One of our topics is addressing what you're talking about, so we're going to get to that. So we're going to get to their questions in the chat as well. We see you guys out there, but I want to get you guys' opinion on this because at this point, we just need to say the quiet part out loud. Who do you have, in the mix? Who is your guys? And we've given our hot takes, our predictions. Some are holding true, some are in the toilet, but, to start off the headlines today, let's just talk about what is what. Who is your front runners in AFC, NFC? Now, we split down the middle here. Me, Captain Jack, and Alex on one side. We got Robert, Violator, and Coach Mike Dub on the other side. So, we're going to let Robert's side do the NFC, and our side going to do the AFC. So, Who is your front runners in that conference, and who do you got making and who you don't at this point? Let's start with the young RG.
Yeah, man, it's got to be the Rams at this point, man. I mean, they're just clearly the best team in the league, albeit they had a very shocking loss to the Panthers. Kitty go meow.
Crazy.
We called it at the beginning of the season, Coach. I mean, we said it that they would be a team that could compete, and with the fall off that the Bucs have had, hey, they got a good defense, they can compete. But besides the fact, the Rams are clearly the best. They got the best quarterback. They got the best defense as a whole, just all around playmakers at every position. They got an O-line. They got a running game. I mean, they're just the most complete team in the NFC right now. I don't think anybody can really hold a torch up to them. Again, had a bit of a rough loss, but to me, like every team this year has had one or two losses that are just inexcusable, and we don't even know how they lost it, but they did, and that's just the NFL. So, yeah, without all that being said, it's going to be the Rams with my eyes.
Okay, so who do you have 2 and 3 in your book? Who's nipping their heels?
Man, I mean, I feel crazy enough to say, as rough of a start to the season that they had, the Cowboys are really coming into their own. That defense playing so much better, like I mentioned, than at the beginning of the season. That offense has always been electric with Pickens and Lamb on the outside. So I'd probably go with Cowboys in my 2 spot. And then the 3 spot is where it really starts to get rough. I can't believe I'm even saying this, but it probably is the Bears. I mean, they're the 1 seed right now. I don't think they'll stay the 1 seed. But, I mean, they just keep finding ways to win. And I'm sure Alex will tell you, winning is a skill that teams have to, learn or sort of, refine over time. And that first season with Ben Johnson, man, he's completely turned that O-line around. That run game is electric. I mean, damn, they're going to be a scary team come January.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, I like the breakdown. I like the reasoning behind it. I definitely can agree with the first 2. That middle team is scary. The Cowboys definitely scary, but I'm still waiting on the shoe to drop on the Bears. I hate to say it because I love the team. I love Ben Johnson.
Hey, you better be stop talking shit about them Cowboys.
Oh Lord, the hats are coming out early. The hats are coming out early. But Violator, good sir, who do you have as your front runners in NFC and why?
I'm going to echo Robert with the Rams. Most complete team. I'm going to give them the edge with coaching. Everybody's pretty much healthy. And with the addition of Devontae, now that offense can strike quickly. So they're my number 1. Number 2, I'm going to say Seattle because they're quietly putting together, this little movement of theirs, this ascension, I'll call it.
Right.
Donaldson is really feeling himself right now. So they're a real young squad, but I like the way they're being coached outside of the box, so to speak. It doesn't look like the Legion of Boom, but they're getting the job done. So the Seahawks are my number 2.
I like it. Okay. All right. You got a number 3 on the books?
I'm going to have to go stick the Packers in there until they're completely eliminated.
Gotcha.
Like I said, Jordan Love really matured. I'll just put it that way. He's matured. He knows how to use the weapons allotted to him. And as long as Josh Jacobs doesn't have a broke ankle, he's always in the mix, man, with that run game.
I like it. Okay, good stuff. Coach Mike Dubb, what you got on your side? Who you got as front rows in the NFC?
Look, we're all on the same page. Just like everybody else is saying, the Rams to me look like the most consistent takeaway. I know they had a tough loss this past week, but sometimes that's the best thing that can happen. At this point in the season, because it's still time for them to, reevaluate the film and it's a down to earth kind of loss right there. So I talked about their defense last week. I mean, it's a championship style defense. They're young. And then on the offensive side of the ball, they have veterans. They have, the experience. They've been there before. I think they're the most well-rounded team. So I'm going to take the Packers the Rams as the number 1, in my opinion.
Okay. Who do you got 2 and 3?
So I'm with Violator. I have the same 2 and 3, just in different orders. I probably would put the Packers number 2. I've been high on them since they made the trade, and it's continuing to pay off. Myles Garrett is having a great year. I don't want to say that that Michael Parsons is slipping under the radar, but he's having a really good year. Yeah, you know what I mean? The only reason I say that is because Myles Garrett is having such an outstanding season, but Michael Parsons is having another outstanding season as well. And I think that can be, the edge and pushing them above and beyond. Partner that with how Jordan Love has looked, like Violator said. And then how about those weapons that finally came out and started to show some consistency? I think Christian Watson had a big game last week, about time. So it looks like they're finally trying to, come into who they wanted these guys to be. So the process looks like it's where it's, taking its toll, or at least paying off, I should say. And just like Violator said, Josh Jacobs is the heartbeat of that team. As long as you can run the ball and play defense, you got a chance. And I think that's what they do best.
I like it. Okay. Yeah, that injury to Devontae Wyatt is a big one, though. We got to watch what the Packers do in the interior going forward. Those guys, Quay Walker and company, Edgerrin Cooper, they benefited a lot from him taking up space up front. So them not having that could make them susceptible to the run. But I definitely like how they're trending, for sure, from the Packers perspective. But I definitely like that. No love for the Lions or the Buccaneers or the Eagles.
The Bucks. Yeah, I will say the Bucks. I'm keeping an eye on them now that they're getting healthy. They are a team that I almost threw in the mix as well. But I just got to see, how they look, in the tail end of the season. The Bucks are a team that I will keep my eye on, and the Eagles. As long as they don't make any changes with their coordinators, their offensive coordinators, I don't think that we'll see much of a change. If they were to make a change with their coordinator and place calling, then maybe I will put them in the mix. But, as of now, I don't think that this is their year. I think they're going to have to make some changes in the offseason, and it's not a talent thing. It's just it's a coaching thing and a front office thing. So, or I guess I should say headset thing, because it's really just coaching. But
Vive la Detroit! Vive la Detroit! I just had to say that now. And F the fake pirates. Fake pirates. F them for personal reasons.
All right, we got a sight for Jean-Pierre.
Jean-Paul Jacques, you idiot.
Excuse me, Jean-Paul Jacques. I'm sorry. First of all, my English, sorry. Yes, Jean-Paul Jacques. We got a sighting from Jean-Paul Jacques. Yes, indeed.
You can have a double sighting later, man. I tell you.
All right. Okay. So, any other go backs on the NFC side before we get to the AFC, guys?
Man. I mean, I would probably just say that the only thing that just gives me pause is Sam Darnold just has a tendency to just turn the ball over at a ridiculously high rate in those high pressure situations. I mean, you look at the game against the Rams where he threw 4 picks.
Yeah.
And even in that, the Seattle's defense is just so good that they were still in position to win the game on a walk-off field goal. So I think they are going to be a playoff threat, no doubt, but I just don't feel like they're one of those top teams in the league right now.
I'm skeptical about them and the Broncos. I think both quarterbacks are being carried by the defenses. I think their quarterbacks, if having to do it, cannot put the team on their back and carry them over the hump, in my particular opinion. So I definitely share that sentiment with Seattle and Denver. But we're going to get into the AFC in a minute. But, yeah, I think that the defense is just playing so good that you just have to be a game manager and not F it up. If you don't F it up, we win the ballgame. Is that good enough to win a Super Bowl is the question. Or go far in the playoffs.
Don't sleep. Oh, shit. Where's my hat? Okay. Don't sleep on the Panthers. For fuck the fake pirates.
Oh, man. All right. Let's get to the AFC. Let's get to the AFC here. Alex, who is your front runners in the AFC? Who do you got in your 1, 2, 3?
Chiefs. No, I'm kidding. Joke. Just wanted to trigger some people.
Of course.
I think number one front runner has to be the Patriots at this point. I mean, they seem to be the most complete team. They win in pretty dominant fashion almost every week, it seems. They have a good running game, pretty, like 2 to 3 quality running backs, a pretty good receiving core, and Drake May is playing out of his mind. So I think that's got to be the front runner at this point. But it's interesting. It's just been a weird year because even with that, their schedule has been so easy that it's like you just don't really know what they're going to look like in the playoffs. Once it really matters and it's win or go home. But at this point, they got to be the front runner. I think number 2 has to be Denver, just with their defense alone. If there's any year for a defense to carry someone to the Super Bowl, I think it's this year with just like how wild it's been.
Agreed.
And you got to give Bo Nix and the offense credit. Like they are clutch when they need to be. But that defense is pretty stout and pretty dirty and will keep them in games as long as the offense doesn't get in the way. And as they've shown with their record so far, they know how to close it out at the end of the game. And then I think three is tough. 3 is tough for me because I think if you asked me a week, maybe 2 weeks ago, it was without a doubt the Colts, but they're kind of on a downward spiral. So I think 3, you got to give it to Buffalo right now, just because who they got, Josh Allen. They looked weird at times, but have also looked pretty dominant at times, and they've been there before. So, I think if they find a way, they're going to get in the wild card at this point. But they're probably the dark horse to make a deep run from that wild card spot, just from who they have on offense, and their defense seems to be playing better, here these past few weeks. So those are my top 3 right now.
Yeah, I got a bit of a hotter take on that dark horse train. But we'll get to that. But I respectfully, you have a point there. You have a valid argument. I just disagree.
Yeah,
disagree. Okay. All right, Captain Jack, what you got on your side? Who you got 1, 2, and 3 in the AFC?
Okay, 1 and 2 are obvious. And by the way, let me see who on this show actually picked Denver to be the AFC West champions this year. Oh, that's right, me.
It might be the man with a white beard.
And that's not Santa Claus calling that either.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Okay. And again, it's not done yet, but from everything that I've seen, I'm actually Aristotle and Aristophanes and Nostradamus and all those other guys all mixed in one. Okay. Mike Sarah, you might be right, but they are still the best team right now with the easiest road to get to the playoffs. What happens in the playoffs, we'll see. But obviously 1 and 2, easy, Patriots and Broncos. Here's your 3. Here's your 3. And you might laugh. You might say, yeah, but. And if you want to see a yeah, but, I got a yeah, but anyway. I'm talking the Houston Texans.
Oh, you stole it.
No, I didn't steal shit. And I saw that DZ had it. Okay, the way the Texans play defense, it's just exactly like the Broncos are charging that team. Yes, I said that deliberately for a pun. Okay, the defense is keeping that team in it. Now, will they be able to beat the ketchup and mustard crew? Remains to be seen. But I think when all is said and done, the Texans are going to take the South. And I think the Jags are actually going to be higher than the Colts when it all comes said and done, because I think Coach was talking about, Danny Dimes being going back to, screwing Indiana Jones and going back to Danny Dimes. The way they've been playing and with that injury, especially with that broken leg, they're going to drop. So my team 3 is the Houston Texans. And Kansas City, depending upon what happens this week, you can definitely start making your tee times if you get beat. And I know I'm foreshadowing it and something later on. If you get beat in home by Houston, start making your tee times now. It'll save you some trouble. Number 3, the Houston. Wait a sec. Wait for it. Here it is, damn it. How about them Texans? Different cowboy hat, because that's a Texans hat.
Indeed. Well, yeah, I mean, hadn't happened yet, but it's trending in that direction. So I definitely share your sentiment about Houston because that defense playing lights out, and I would argue that they finally starting to pick things up on the offensive side of the ball. They figure out their O-line situation. They figured out what they need to do as far as utilizing their weapons. They're using Woody Marks more so now, getting their receivers back healthy, things of that nature. But yeah, I definitely believe that the Texans are definitely hot at fish grease right now. So I believe that they're going to continue that trend, and that defense is the best in the league. I'll give you this argument there. It is the best in the league. So I mean, the way they playing lights out defense and playing moderate to good offense, they're scary. That's definitely scary. So I think they're going to be the champs of the division. And I think I had a hot take a few weeks ago. It kind of simmered because they were losing with C.J. Stroud, and they brought it back with Davis Mills, but I think that they can definitely be a quote-unquote dark horse team, and I think they're scary. And you don't want truly, I don't think you want them or the Chiefs in the playoffs and have to play them because there's those two teams that you do not want in the playoffs from an experience perspective for KC and just a defensive perspective for Houston. You just don't want to face them. It's going to be a headache to deal with. So I definitely believe that Houston is a dark horse and could be that number 2-ish, 3. Is because to be honest with you, what scares me about the Pats is that they're young and inexperienced, and that always rears its ugly head in the playoffs. So that scares me. They give me that vibe. Like, you remember that Giants team a few years ago? I think it might have been was it Dayball's first year or maybe not, but they ran rough shot through the schedule, but the schedule was super soft. Like, they had the easiest schedule in the league. Like, they were just running through teams. And then they got to the playoffs, and what did they do? First week, they laid an egg because they had to play actually a good team in that space. So guess what?
Didn't they beat the Vikings?
Yeah. They beat someone, and then they got smacked by the Eagles, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, right. Daniel Jones got his first playoff win against the Vikings that year.
That's
but you're right, it was like a cupcake schedule.
Right. So everybody arguing they weren't playing anybody. The schedule was soft. They had been battle tested, and guess what? The moment they got battle tested, they got sent home. So I'm hoping that's not the case for the Pats, but that could be a thing. Buffalo, I don't trust their defense at all, and they're very dependent on the run game. So you got teams that are like the Texans and like the Chiefs and like the Jaguars that can stop the run really well. Yeah. That's going to give you problems. In that space, and if you can't rely on the run game to lead your offense, and Josh Allen can't be Superman, I think that bodes well for a loss in the playoffs because it's win or go home. All the chips are on the table. I don't know what the hell is happening with the Ravens, but yeah, I mean, it's funny that we talk about the South being a team, a division that's getting 2 teams in potentially. That's crazy. So by default, you got to give it to the Pats. Second, I think I'm gonna give it to the Texans. Third, I'm gonna give it to the Broncos out of respect. They doing what they're doing. And third, I'll give it to the Texans.
Now, let it be stated, and I'm sure that my buddy Alex will let me know on this, looking at the way that it pans out. If Houston does beat Kansas City, doesn't that mean that's another team that you'd have to leapfrog just to make it into the playoffs? Because they can't lose again. If they lose to Houston, the Chargers and Broncos, like they'd have to beat the Chargers and Broncos, and then the Chargers would have to lose 1 or 2 more games. So they pretty much can't lose again. I mean, so we'll find out. We'll find out this Sunday Night Football, if it's the Texans are ascending or the Chiefs are sticking around.
There you go. Okay.
And that was the only. I wanted to put the Texans because I do agree their defense is probably the best. If not, maybe you got to give it to the Broncos just from the absurd sack run they're on right now and the pace. But my hesitation was with CJ Stroud back in there, and it didn't look the same. Like I think DZ said it, the Davis Mills Texans looked a hell of a lot different than the Stroud Texans.
Yeah. Well, maybe that concussion woke him up. So I don't know. We'll see. But maybe, but we'll see. But that's funny that you talk about.
There was no way in hell I was going to say the Garglers were number 3.
Oh boy.
Well, yeah.
That was coming.
What's the saying? The death taxes and Chargers hate from Cap. That's pretty much it.
Either that death taxes or Chargers going to charge.
Anywho, moving on and talking about a team in the AFC West. Let's get in. Well, actually, talk about two teams and that were in the Super Bowl last year, and the topic we call Dynastic Dreams and December Doubts. The
Mark.
Chiefs and the Eagles are both, less than a year removed from being in the Super Bowl together. To Eagles taking the victory this time around after the meeting, 2 years ago. But there's a conversation going around that they may or may not make the playoffs from either space. And what Alex talked about a little bit earlier, the Chiefs have to win out, and the Eagles are floundering. They got to play the Chargers, ironically, on Monday Night Football this coming week. So let's get the panel's opinion on what's going on with the Chiefs and Eagles, and do you believe they will or will not miss the playoffs this year? Let's start with RG. What do you feel about the Chiefs and Eagles, and do you think they're going to make the playoffs?
I think the Eagles will make the playoffs. I think that they have just won enough games, and that defense is good enough for them to sneak into a playoff spot. What Navman is saying, also I agree with that, of course, because I have Dallas in my top three.
Right.
For the complete trend up. Eagles are completely trending down at this point. The Eagles offense is in shambles. I have no idea why Patullo has not been fired yet. He has some sort of dirt on Sirianni and that organization, because there's just zero excuse to have that guy continue coaching that inept offense. You saw what Kellen Moore did with those exact same pieces, and it looks like a completely different team now. So that needs to change if I want to have any faith. They could put literally anybody at OC, and it would give me more faith in the Eagles than what they have currently right now. But that's all to say that they are in a much better position than the Chiefs are. I think the Chiefs are they're the team nobody wants to make the playoffs, because if they do sneak in, that's terrifying for the rest of the AFC, because they would instantly become the team in the AFC with that pedigree, that, just fear factor that they just instill into other franchises. But they are in, as I talked about, a really deep hole, pause, and not the good kind. And so, they got to fight back. They're going to have to scratch and claw.
I swear I didn't say
it. They're going to have to scratch and claw, and they're going to have to. But the thing is, they are in a position to, win some of these games. They still have to play the Chargers. They still have to play the Broncos. Or I'm sorry. Yeah, Broncos and Chargers one more time each. The Texans game this Sunday night is a massive game for them. So they are still in position to make the playoffs. It's just that, obviously being 500 at this point in the season, nobody expected that from the Chiefs. But yeah, I still think both of these teams, they obviously have championship pedigree. They obviously can both make the playoffs. It's just a matter of, what can they do, for the Chiefs, what can they do to get there? And for the Eagles, can they just hold on long enough to make it into the dance? And then, as we know, anything could happen.
Okay. Yeah, the Chiefs definitely control their own destiny, but it's not going to be easy road. If they make it, they earned it. That's for sure. That is for sure.
100%.
Yes.
Indeed. All right, Violator, what you got on this topic? Do you think Chiefs and the Eagles make the playoffs?
I'm thinking that they both can, but like we already stated, obviously, the Chiefs have the rougher road getting there, but in that turmoil can build more character. The Eagles, like I said, I don't know where that funk on the offense has come from, but that may rear its ugly head as the competition gets greater closer to the end of the season. But I do think with the wins that they already have, they can get in there in that division. But Dallas, don't be surprised, could knock them out.
Yeah, Dallas is looking scary right now. I'm not going to hold you. They are definitely looking like a team that is out for blood, that's for sure. I definitely agree there. All right, Mike, what's your take on this? The Eagles and Chiefs both make it?
I think the Eagles, yes, simply because I think RG said it already. They've done enough up to this point to where I think that they have the inside track on pretty much controlling their own destiny. And for that same reason, or for the opposite reason, I would say probably is why I probably would say no to the Chiefs. Because if I'm not mistaken, the Chiefs, even if they, went out, they still would need some help, from other teams, just in case, basically they don't control their own destiny. So that's where it gets scary. You got, Buffalo, Houston, even Pittsburgh has the edge over them. So if them and Pittsburgh end up with the same record, I think Pittsburgh has a tiebreaker. So there's just a lot that has to go in their favor. That of course is possible. You never count Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes out, but there's just so much, stacked up against them that, it just scares me when the team doesn't control their own destiny. So I would say yes for Philadelphia and no for Kansas City.
Okay. Fair enough. Well, Alex, I think we would say you're going to say yes on the Chiefs, but how you feel about the Eagles?
Yeah. I mean, I got one more week where I can confidently say that. Like I've said, you can't count them out until they get knocked out, because people tried to count them out before and they've been on a hell of a run. So, we'll see what happens Sunday night. But for the Eagles, I kind of agree with everyone's sentiments that they've done enough at this point. NFC East is, not overly competitive. I'd say the only thing is that nobody's won the NFC East in back-to-back years. And how long, Dub? It's a while, isn't
it's
it?
been years. It's been years, a long time, yeah.
So, there's that component. But, yeah, I think they start to figure out their running game, get Saquon going more, and win the East and get into the playoffs. And what they do at that point, we'll see, because I've seen a lot of remnants of, the 2024 or 2023 season when they started off 10-0, kind of sputtered out at the end of the year, and then lost to the fake Pirates. Cap, I know you were at that game, in the wild card round. So I see that it's eerily similar.
I got TV to prove I was there.
There you go.
I'm sorry. Did I step on you you can say something now, Alex. I'll shut up.
Is he frozen?
What? Am I frozen?
Oh, no, you good. Okay.
No, I was done talking.
Oh, okay. Okay. Fair enough. Okay. All right, Kat, what you got? Are the Eagles and Chiefs both making the playoffs?
And this is not out of pure hate, spite, and bile. I swear. It's close to it. But the easy answer has already been stated by everybody. I'm looking at the schedule, which makes it real easy. Okay. The Eagles got a win against the Raiders upcoming, right? They got to play the Commanders twice, okay, which they should split. I mean, at worst, with one of those. I'll give Dub a win maybe when after the Eagles play the Raiders. But they got to play the Bills, and the Eagles also got to play the Garglers, and then and that's the other thing. But the Chiefs, and again, I will agree that if they make the playoffs, then all bets are off. Literally, all bets are off. They will surprise because they got the pedigree, they got the chutzpah, they got the officials in their pocket. Oh, I'm sorry, but maybe not this year, but they paid them off enough. The official will be say, yo, Johnny, how much you paying?
These last 6 weeks, the refs will remember who's paying them. That's all I'll say.
But as far as that goes, like I said, if let's put it this way: if they get past the Texans, they got to play the Chargers again, but they're playing them at home. They'll get a win against the Titans.
Oh yeah.
They will play the Broncos at home. And then they get a win against the Raiders. They, like you said, they got to run the table. But even if they run the table, you still got to make sure that somebody else drops a spot. And I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, really.
I thought maybe the Raiders fan would understand me blindly having faith in my team, but hey.
No, I got you. But I don't smoke that shit.
Yeah. You're on a totally different type of substance.
I'm on natural air, dude. Natural air.
On that blue pill.
Yeah. Blue Chew.
No, I'm not, because it's bad for my ticker. So F anybody that says that.
That's a good one. Oh, man. So,
but you're not wrong, Cap. I mean, yeah, even they got to win out, and even then, it's not all. They're not all in control, because the Jaguars have a tiebreaker over them. Buffalo has a tiebreaker over them. Right now, Pittsburgh does. So,
and again, no, not pure bile, or vitriol, hatred,
Ah,
abhorrence.
It's
I
hate
know,
that way.
It's hate
throwing
adjacent.
all these words out there.
Yeah.
It's just, if you look at what's going on, it makes it easy to say that the Eagles have an easier route to get in.
Understood.
doubt.
I will say that for the Chiefs, like you said, they do need a team to fall. Chargers are like, and I'm not even trying to say this to try to be a hater on my own team, but the Chargers' schedule, when DZ mentioned it earlier, it is brutal to end the year. I mean, like you said, you got Eagles Monday night, you got Chiefs right after that. I mean, you Texans, Cowboys, Broncos. The Broncos Week 18 might actually be the easiest game in that, because by then they might have it locked up and they might not be able to move up in seeding, so they just might rest starters. It would be hilarious if the Broncos did to the Chiefs what the Chiefs did to the Bengals last year, or excuse me, what the Broncos did to the exactly.
Yeah, I think we got the toughest schedule out of anybody. Talking about people that's got vying for the playoffs, to be honest with you. But I'll save that for the Electric Shock podcast. Talk about the Chargers in glowing fashion. We'll keep NFL here. But the Eagles, just by virtual schedule, should. I know Jaden Daniels may or may not come back. Here soon, so that could be a different ball game if he plays. Terry's back. Jaden's will play. In the hell, they gave the Broncos a game without Jaden. So I argue that could be a different ball game when they play the Eagles. But just on paper, if the Eagles have the easier road, and to your point, they need less help. So they probably, if you had to flip a coin between the two, they would probably be the more likely to get in. But I don't like their offense. I don't like how they're playing. The defense will keep them in games, but the offense is very pedestrian, and you have to point the fingers at. Although Sirianni doesn't want to do it, you got to point the fingers at the OC. That is the only clear difference in delineation between this year's team and last year's team, and they don't look like the same offense at all. Not even close.
Nope.
Not even close. So and I felt that burden with fantasy football and with Saquon Barkley. So I know.
Preach.
Firsthand.
I would love to have a pedestrian offense, man. Are you kidding me? A pedestrian offense is light years above what we've had this year.
That's fair. But the Chiefs are going to need some help, but I do think they got 2 built-in wins here. Them winning their first 2 games upcoming against the Texans and the Chargers, much to my chagrin, would lead me to believe they will probably make it. But they got to get those 2. They don't get those 2, then it's pretty much over. But after that, I think that they got a if they do that, they got a real good puncher's chance. If they don't, then especially starting with the Texans this week, it's going to be curtains if they don't beat them for sure. So we'll see how things flow. But I think we're all in agreement that the Chiefs got their work cut off for them, and Eagles most likely will fall into the playoffs. Just fall out of bed.
We just need the Chargers to beat them in Montropolis Monday. All right.
Right. There you go.
Oh my God! Don't remind me.
Crazy. All right. So we'll see how things flow, but it should be definitely a good weekend of football, and we'll know more come next week's show. That's for sure. All right, so let's move on down the line. Let's get into our topic, our rolling segment called Do You Believe? It is the first reaction to off-the-cuff answers that I'm going to get from the panel here. I got questions for them, and they got answers. They just don't know the questions. The questions aren't known to them pre-show, so we're going to get first visceral reactions, first right, no prep, no research. They're going to give me their honest-to-God answers and what these questions are going to be. But getting into this week, is some good ones here. So, let's see here. We got, let's start with young RG. I got a good one here for you. I think that you're going to like this one. So, do you believe that Kevin O'Connell gets fired by the start of next season?
Oh, man. I mean, that's tough because Vikings fans are in hell right now. Watching Sam Darnold, and I know I have my reservations about Sam, but watching him ball out in Seattle,
the JJ's worse.
Man, they got to be, they got to be just absolutely pissed off. But you just can't, man. I think it's too soon. Obviously, this year has been a complete dumpster fire disaster. All 3 other teams in your division are just absolutely running away. Detroit, maybe not so much, but they're just they did lose to them for what it's worth, but divisional games. But I don't think he'll get fired. I think he gets 1 more year. And Vikings fans are praying that this 1 year is what shows JJ, kind of hoping he takes that leap.
What you say about that twi? You imbecile.
I just don't see
him.
No
speed.
I love when I just see him putting the hat on.
I just don't think
I know it's coming.
Getting ready. I just don't think that, because we talked about this when we were talking about Mike Tomlin and the Steelers. When you fire a head coach, the sign of do you have a good head coach is when you fire him, how quickly will he be picked back up? And I think Kevin O'Connell is one of those coaches where if he got fired, he would get up almost immediately.
The ink will not dry.
You just can't. You got to write it out. Pause. Yeah. So I don't think he gets fired.
Okay, fair enough. Yes, indeed. And to add to that, if you fire a coach, and this is an argument I would make for Mike Tomlin as well, if you fire a coach, who you got replacing him? Because if you don't have a better option, if you don't have a better option in place, then why are you doing it? Because we can argue he might have missed on JJ McCarthy's decision of being their franchise, but that's it. Everything else has been peachy. He's a great play caller. The players love him, all the good jazz. So only thing I really got to do is get a quarterback right, and he's back in business. For my money, he got a great GC, everything.
And would you really want to bring someone else in to learn have your developing QB who's going to be on the third year of his deal? To have to learn a whole new system and everything, and probably go back even further, even though where he's at right now it's not great. But I think the injuries have bought O'Connell another year. Like you could say,
were they injuries for real?
Yeah, well,
I mean,
some of that may be a little smoke and mirrors to buy himself some time. Who knows?
Maybe. Playing a little dirty pool with the injury report, but that's just that's my conspiracy brain. But yeah, I feel you there. Okay, so yeah, I definitely agree you should give him one more year for sure, maybe two. Especially if you got a succession plan. If you feel like JJ is not the answer, go back into the draft or go with somewhere else. Go get Mac Jones from the 49ers, maybe.
Cool. Yeah, that's cool. I'll pick that too.
Yeah, that's funny. That is funny. Okay, all right, Violator. I got one good one for you. So talking about the AFC South, I think I've been kind of hinting toward this for a couple of weeks. So I'm just going to come out and say it right now. Do you believe that the Denver Broncos' luck will run out at the wrong time?
Wow, damn.
I know I got good questions because every time I ask you, I'm going to say, wow, damn, before you answer. That's a good job. Okay, all right.
Great question, but I think they're on a roll. You can see just watching the game the other night. I mean, they have momentum, and that defense can keep them in games even when Bo Nix has an off night, so to speak. Their running game is still kind of suspect to me.
I agree with that.
I think as long as they can win with smoke and mirrors with the run game, he has receivers that can bail him out. And I think the defense is really underrated. As good as they are, they can take them all the way. That defense, they are that good, and I hate saying it, but they are that good.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, they definitely give me a lot of Chiefs vibes from last year, and we saw the Chiefs. The clock struck midnight, and the Cinderella slipper fell off in the Super Bowl. So will that happen to the Broncos in any space in the playoffs, especially when they haven't made it's a pretty young team in their own right. A lot of those players haven't been in the playoffs before to a large degree. So that's something that we have to keep that in mind going into the playoffs. But they're playing good football right now. And Sean Payton's a great coach, so you can't take that away from him.
I was gonna say that they've got Sean Payton right there. So hey, can't count that guy out.
Not at all. And he's a Super Bowl winning coach, so he does have that experience in his own right. So yeah, I definitely give you that. All right, Dub, I got a good one for you. So do you believe that the Carolina Panthers win the NFC South?
No. And the reason I'm going to say no is because Tampa Bay is getting healthy now. Like I said, Bucky is back. Godwin is back. A few other guys that they got coming in at the right time. I think that they're putting up a good fight. They're making it look good. And they have made significant progress, but I still think Tampa Bay is the cream of the crop in the NFC South. Not taking anything away from Carolina. I think maybe next year might be their year. If they continue to build and continue to do, head in the direction that they're headed. But overall, I don't think that they'll have enough to overtake Tampa Bay. And not even saying that Tampa Bay is a super juggernaut or anything like that, but I would give them the edge on Carolina.
Okay.
Hey, remember that Dave Canales comes from the Bucks. He was one of those guys that they just shooed away. And historically, the Panthers take one, if not two games from the Bucks. They might not take two games from the Bucks, but historically, they take at least one game from the Bucks. And that might be the game that they win.
They're making it interesting. I'll give it to them. They're definitely making it interesting. So,
they play them twice here, too.
Right. That's what I said. They got two to go.
Yeah.
They do. That's going to determine it. That really is. But outside of that, Tampa Bay's schedule is cake. Like, they got the Saints, the Falcons, and the Dolphins smashed in between those games. So the Panthers better step up and beat them both times. If not, they're going to lose the division.
That's it right there. So that's what you want at this point in the season. That's what the NFL wants. I think it's shaping up to be a good back end of the season, a good last quarter of the season as far as the divisional matchups. It's not clear who's going to get what because there's nobody that feels like nobody wants it, which is going to make for, good matchups and good TV. So, shout out to the NFL. They're finally getting what they want.
Indeed.
You're talking about the Panthers, or you're talking about the rest of the schedule too. Panthers, I mean, you got bye week this week. Pretty good time for a bye week, I'd say. You got Saints coming out of it. Now, they did lose to the Saints before, but I'm sure they're in a much better position to not. And then, like I mentioned, both Tampa games. And if they can squeak one out against Seattle, hey man, Panthers might be a team you got to look out for.
That's a tall order. And RG, I didn't give you that question on purpose because I didn't want to trigger you because I know how high you are on the Panthers right now. And I'm not going to set him up with that question because I know what he was going to say.
Kitty go meow.
Yeah, there you go. Indeed. Okay. All right, AG, I got a good one for you here as well. Let's talk about NFC teams and the number one seed at this particular point in time. Do you believe that the Chicago Bears have enough to make a deep playoff?
Damn. Nice one.
I
do want to point out, I love how Dub just was like, no. Just answered it. Right. He didn't continue the trend, but I was going to say damn regardless of what he said.
That's comic timing, Alex. That's wonderful. No, that was great, man.
That was a rim shot right there. Yeah, that pause there. That felt dirty, just the way I said that. All right. Yeah. Anyways, back to the Bears. I do think the Bears have enough to make a pretty deep playoff run, or at least win. I guess they might have a bye at this point. At least win their first game, whether that's wild card round or round two, because they have an absolutely elite running game. I mean, they have a two-headed machine in the backfield running the ball. They're able to use that to not really put much of the game in Caleb's hands, and their defense has been opportunistic at the right time. So as long as they can, continue to build on that running game with Monungai and Swift, I think they can be a problem come playoff time. But I will say we've also seen Ben Johnson offenses look like this before and sputter out in the playoffs. So that's kind of where I get my reservation. And then it's like, you take the running game away, then it's up to Caleb Williams. And that's a roller coaster of emotions right now.
It's a glass case of emotions. Not a Rob Burgundy. Yes, that's a glass case of emotions for sure. I like it.
I had a case of Monungai in the Navy, but I had to get a shot to get rid of it.
Wow. Oh man. Okay. All right, Cap. Well,
it was there, man. I'm sorry. It was easy.
I got you. All right, for you, good sir. Do you believe the Cowboys can make the playoffs this year?
Oh, easy. Yes. I don't even know what their schedule is. I can look it up, and I'm sure somebody has it on wire. But the way that they've been playing, the way that they've been, taking care of, in 4 days, they take care of both the Chiefs and the Eagles. And I said that correctly. And it was just off on, what was it? Now, I know they got another tough game on, I think it's Detroit on Thursday, is it not?
They got Detroit on Thursday.
Yeah.
Thursday, Detroit, the Vikings, the Chargers, the Commanders, and the Giants.
Yeah, so I'm going to be
St. Brown.
I'm gonna be double hatting on this next portion. I think that they can make the playoffs. I mean, Detroit without Armand Ron-Sevran. That's a big component that's not there. And Dallas is winning with good defense, good special teams overall, and Dak ain't effing up when he historically is done. I mean, Dak is not Romoing it, if I can say that. Can I say that? Dak's not Romoing it? Anyway.
Oh, jeez. That's my Romo.
Hey. That was good. I'm sorry. I missed that.
Come on.
I was very involved, but that was a good Romo. So I think Dallas makes it. And I saw a great like movie or little video? Was it like the Joker going down the steps? From the last Joker film when he's going down the steps at the end,
kicking it. And
he said for all the people that were bagging on the Dallas Cowboys, this year, and Joker's laughing at the end. That could be true. That's
definitely Jerry right now. He's flying down those steps, in his glee, looking like a genius after that Micah trade. So yeah, definitely that. If they make the playoff this year and they turn around, the Packers don't make the Super Bowl, and they turn those picks into gold, they definitely won that trade. That's for sure.
Well, I mean, if Jerry's looking at it's like the second coming of the Herschel trade.
Well, it could end up being that. We'll see because he didn't get nothing for it. I'll tell you that. He got a haul for Micah if you want to be honest about it. Right now, he haven't even cashed his picks in yet.
What's crazy too.
Also, Jadeveon Clowney has been a great addition to that defense as well.
Yeah. Him and Fowler playing well in addition to Donovan Iziraku, who's playing well, who they drafted in the second round this year. So they team up as Iziraku with another edge rusher in this draft coming up with that interior D line and with having Overshown back. Yes, that's filthy. That's definitely filthy.
That's was crazy if true. Who knows if actually true? But the fact that he offered Micah Parsons and a first-round pick for Quinnen, and they said no, and then he turned it to the Packers for a totally different type of deal that was way more favorable, and still got Quinnen.
Right. Go figure. I don't know what they're doing in New York, but not much, clearly.
They don't know what they're doing.
They don't know. Obviously, Woody Johnson was thinking.
Yeah. I don't know what the hell he's thinking.
Exactly.
I think they were releasing big money that was going to hit them.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
And they're going totally young right now.
I agree with that. Look, got traded Sauce and Quinnen. Your two cornerstones. Got to be a fire sale. Okay. All right. So, RG, you got anything for me before we move on?
I do got a question for you, Coach. So obviously we're talking about playoffs. We're in December now. It's when the going gets rough. This is where teams really show what they're made of, before we approach January football. And there's a team up there in the AFC North that just got their quarterback back. And they had a huge divisional win in his first game back. What chances do you give the Bengals of coming from out of absolutely nowhere, from rising from the dead like Lazarus and sealing that AFC North championship?
Wow, that's a good one. That is a good one.
Damn.
I like his dropping of Lazarus too. That was actually erudite as well. Very erudite.
It's going to be rough, but and I will give them credit for the defense playing a little bit better than they have in the previous 11 weeks. But maybe the motivation of Joe Burrow coming back is guiding them, playing better football because they're missing both their edge rushers. We hadn't seen Trey Hendrickson or Shamar Stewart in weeks. They're still playing solid football, not great, but solid football on the defensive side of the ball. So we're getting Joe Burrow back. It definitely propel them in a certain case, but look at their schedule, man. I mean, they got to play the Bills this week. They got the Ravens next week, and the Dolphins, which I think there was a win. Cardinals, then that tough defense from the Browns. And they got to run the table. I'm not sure they can.
They're 3-1 in the division.
They are, which is weird to say when they haven't. Yeah, right. It's crazy to say, but I don't know. I mean, it really would tell me more if they beat the Bills and the Ravens. Absolutely. But if they don't beat the Bills or the Ravens, it's RIP. It's for sure. They just got back. They got too far in the hole. It just got too far in the hole. That's the only thing which sucks. I mean, which it kind of helps. It hurts them, but helps me because as long as they're competitive through week 17, I got Jamar Chase, so we're good in fantasy. But
oh God, I was waiting for when it was going to hit.
You missed it earlier. We were talking about Saquon. Yep.
Yeah,
gotta drop a FF on the show. Oh my God.
But outside of that, yeah, it's uphill climb for sure. I mean, they got to win both. They got to win at the Bills and win at home against the Ravens. Yeah, that's a rough going. The Browns not gonna lay down for you. I mean, they still, that defense still playing good. And Myles Garrett is going for that sack record. So yeah. So I think it's a tough slate, and it's a very slim chance. It's slim to none, and slim is packing his bags on vacation. So yeah, that's my take on it.
Love it.
Indeed. Okay. All right. So let's move on down the line. Let's talk about our cover forecast. Let's get into games of the week. So we got a heavy slate of games this week, and all big time implications when coming down to playoffs and seeding and all that good jazz. I think we could fit probably 4 or 5 more games on this docket, but we only like to do 4, so we'll get the best 4 out of this. So the Cowboys on Thursday night, like we said, they got to face the Lions in Detroit without Amon-Ra. Cowboys are playing hot of the fifth street football right now. So although Detroit is favored by -3, which I think is crazy to say the way Dallas
hasn't moved.
I know, that's the crazy part. So Dallas, the underdog at -3. RG, who you have in this game? Who you got winning? The Cowboys or the Lions?
Man, I feel like I gotta go with the Cowboys here. I've already talked them up, so far on the show. I think Detroit is just in a bit of a free fall right now. The O-line is taking a little bit of a beating. Obviously, Amon-Ra isn't there at the moment. And I think the Cowboys are just riding hot right now, man. They're on a 3-game win streak. Their last 2 wins coming against both Super Bowl participants from the season past. I just think that offense is absolutely electric. It has been all season. And that defense is getting healthier. That D-line is significantly improved with those trades, with those acquisitions. Of course, not going to talk about, losing Micah Parsons. We've talked enough about that. But for what the team they have now, I'm on board with the Cowboys entirely. And they are the team in the NFC nobody wants to see make the playoffs. This should be an easy +3 from the Cowboys.
Oh yeah, we're right there with you for sure. So you got the Cowboys with the either win or just flat out don't cover the spread. I'm with you there. Yeah. Okay. All right, Violator, who you got? Cowboys or the Lions in this matchup in Detroit?
I got Cowboys. Just nix the points. I just think they're flat out better right now because they're healthier right now.
Yeah.
And that defense is going to get after Goff and give him a hard time. Detroit, has a decent run game, but then when you look at the passing game, they're pretty much one arm. So I'm giving the Cowboys the edge.
I like it. Okay. Good stuff. Who you got, Dub? Cowboys or Detroit?
I want to take Detroit. I'm not super confident in it, but I want to take Detroit. This is going to be the game where the question is going to come in whether they miss Ben Johnson or not, because they're going to have to be a little bit more creative on offense. They're going to have to, obviously with the injury to Amon-Ra, I'm not sure if he's going to play or not. They're definitely going to have to lean on their run game a little bit. So finding different ways, to get Gibbs the ball, or even the short passing game and get him active in the short passing game, in my opinion, which is an extension of the run game and could be the difference in this. So I'm going to go with Detroit with the edge in a close game because they're at home, and I think they realize the urgency in this. And also, the last thing I'll say about Detroit is I think that they're probably more comfortable in this situation than they are being like the favorite. This is the situation where I don't want to say they're the underdog because they still are a talented team, but I think they prefer to have to, claw and scrape for their wins and to beat the shiny new toy and Dallas Cowboys. Everybody's on that side and everything like that. I think they prefer to be in that. So Thursday night, Detroit will be rocking. I'm going to take the Lions in a close one.
Okay. All right. Jared Goff does play better at home, so we'll see. We will see. All right, Alex, who you got in this matchup? Cowboys or Lions?
We them boys. I'm going Cowboys. Banged up Detroit. Cowboys defense has really turned the page to some degree, at least with stopping the run. And I think Detroit's shown at times that once you can do that and you can contain Gibbs, defensive had done it, and Montgomery, then it's kind of tough sledding for them. And then you're talking about if they can do that, and it's a Detroit offense without St. Brown, without Raymond, having to rely on Jamison Williams and Tesla. It looked good for the Cowboys, so I'm picking the Cowboys.
All right, Captain Jack, what you got over there? Detroit?
Is he there?
What do I say? Who am I? You imbecile! Imbecile! Who are you talking to? Jean-Paul
Van Damme. Oh, sorry.
Jean-Claude Van Cap.
He's my cousin. He's much more better looking than me. And by the way, I want to say thank you for everybody except for Coach Dub. Coach Dub, you don't know. It's Detroit, you imbecile. You don't know how to say it. Everybody else says Detroit. Everybody else says Detroit. They understand that it's Detroit. Detroit, the champion of many, many, many things. But
either way, I'll say Detroit.
Even though that Amaral, whatever Amaral,
Amaral,
I don't care Amaral. It's very easy to say who will win the game. How about them Cowboys?
There you go.
Hell of a transition there.
It really was.
I tell you, I was trying to make sure that it was a damn good. I thank you, sir. I thought it was about a quick. I didn't even have to go and click, just like that boom boom. But anyway, Cowboys are going to win. Remember that how many syllables and win, and the main reason why is because the damn knee-biting coach that is a former Dallas Cowboy. He's calling the plays and he sucks at it. He sucks at it. So it's my boys all day long. How about them Cowboys?
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think the Cowboys take this one. I know Detroit plays well at home. They're in the dome, but Almiron, no Terrion Arnold. I think even with Terrion Arnold, George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb is going to eat that secondary alive. Their coordinator likes to play a lot of man coverage. It's going to be a long day with those two receivers in that secondary. So, yeah.
We ain't going to see no Armorall. I told you he ain't playing.
I'm talking about the Cowboys receivers. Cowboys receivers going to eat the secondary.
And no Tyrion Arnold.
Hey, Pickens. Oh, my God. Did you see what he did to the Raiders? Oh, my God. He embarrassed them. How many
Cowboys are in the room with us right now?
Right, exactly.
Well, I got another hat to wear in a few. Another hat to wear in a few. Just saying.
There you go. All right. So we Cap and I are both on the Cowboys, so we'll see how things roll. But speaking of the Bengals and what RG talked about in the last segment about the Bengals need to run the table, they got a heavy matchup against the Bills, and the Bills actually favored by a damn near a touchdown, -6.5. So who you got, Bengals or Bills, RG? Will the Bills, keep the hope alive with 2 games back in the division, or will they founder in Buffalo?
That line is a joke, man. There is no way in hell the Bills should be getting almost a full touchdown and extra point worth on the spread. So this is easily Bengals plus 6.5. I fully expect that line to go down a bit. Like we were talking about Bengals. All right, it has. There you go. Yep. So yeah, I fully expect that. Obviously, the Bengals are playing for their playoff lives, as we talked about. Burrow is back. They didn't bring him back unless they wouldn't have brought him back unless they felt they couldn't compete. So I think the Bengals are going to keep it nip and tuck. I'm not sure if they come away with the win, but yeah, 5.5, 6.5. You take the points here and you run with it.
Yeah, it's down to 5.5, but that's still a lot of points. So definitely, there's definitely a lot of points. Okay,
I'm gonna get on my phone. Shit, it keeps going down. I might have to
jump on it now. All right, Valley, who you got, Bengals or Bills?
I'm taking the Bills. Their backs are against the wall, and this AFC division that they're in. So they need to come out punching real hard. we don't know what I think the weather's going to be a little chilly this time of season, but I'm just giving them the edge, even with that porous defense. I'll just call it. I still give them the win.
Okay, I like it. All right, Dub. Who you got? Bills, Bengals.
I'm gonna take the Bills. I'm gonna take the Bills in a close one. This is a great matchup. I think obviously between the two quarterbacks. And I believe is T. Higgins out again? If I'm not mistaken, I think T. Higgins is still out, isn't he?
Hasn't been clear yet, but they like to believe they're going to get him back this week.
Okay, yeah. So that'll be a big difference. But as of now, I'm going to take the Bills. I do think the Bengals cover. I don't, like you said, I think 6.5 is a lot, so I think the Bengals keep it close. But I got the Bills in a close one.
Okay. All right, AG. Who you got in this matchup?
The other G.
There you go. The other G.
I'm kind of with Dub. I got Bills winning in a close one, just because both of those teams' defenses, I think, are going to make it interesting, especially with Joe Burrow back. But I think, Josh Allen's been running a lot more. They've been using James Cook a lot more. I see this being a pretty big James Cook day, but I think Buffalo wins.
Okay. Good stuff. Who you got, Cap? Bengals or Bills?
Well, shit, I got them at 5, so it's still even dropping for the bet that here. But I'll take the Bengals to get with the 5.
Right.
But I think that the Bills, because everything they're gonna need this one. It's gonna be a really good game in my aspect. But I got the Bills winning, but the Bengals, unfortunately, even another half of point. But yeah, I got the Bills to win and the Bengals with their 5 to cover.
I like it. Okay. Yeah, I definitely was betting, man. I'm taking the Bengals in that line, but I think the Bills get this W and get the faint hopes of the Bengals playoff hopes, go take another dash. I think the Bills need this game more, just to keep pace in that wild card race, for sure. So we'll see how things go, but I definitely like the Bengals to cover, but Bills to win. All right, so Colts against the Jags. This is gonna be a good one in Jacksonville. I think Colts are, they took a step back. They're second in the division now. Texans are nipping on their heels. So Colts are actually favored on the road by -5, 1.5. So who you got, RG? Colts or Jags?
Man, this one is tough because the line is so small. It's a division game. I mean, like you mentioned, Colts are just kind of in a bit of a free fall. Jags look like they're trending up. They're playing a lot better as of late. I'm going to go with the Jags on this one for 2 reasons. One, they're at home. And for the second reason, they're getting the points. And I know it's only 1.5, but I just feel like the Jags are going to come away with this one. Trevor Lawrence, as much as I don't like him, obviously joke about it saying he puts the T in INT. I just trust him more than Daniel Jones. So yeah,
Wow.
I think I'm gonna go with the Jags here.
But did you throw up in your mouth a little bit when you said that?
No, I'm sorry.
Did you throw up your mouth a little bit when you said that?
Yeah, just a little bit. It was a little bit of baby barf.
Okay. I like it.
All about that.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. All right, Violator, who you got, Colts or Jags?
I'm going to take Colts in this one. It's going to be a close game as a points show, but I just think the Colts have more firepower right now. I could be wrong come next Tuesday, but I'm going to lean on the Colts to take this one.
I like it. Good stuff. All right, Dub, who you got, Colts or Jags?
I was torn in between this one. I think that the only reason I'm going to go with the Jags on this is because I think the key for the Colts to win is their run game, and I think that's the Jags' strength is stopping the run.
It is.
So for that reason, I'm going to take the Jags in a close one. However, I do think that Trevor Lawrence is going to try to give it away as hard as possible. I foresee some big turnovers, but I think that the Jags will be able to pull it out just because I think they should be able to neutralize Jonathan Taylor in that run game, and the Colts. They've shown that when they haven't gotten that run game going, they're a different team. So I'm going to take the Jaguars.
Yeah, fun fact: every team that's held Jonathan Taylor under 100 yards rushing has won the game against the Colts.
Huh. Who would have thought?
And who has the run number one rush defense in the league right now? The number one rush defense in the league right now is the Jaguars. So
there you go. So yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm glad you told me that before I placed the bet.
You're welcome. I'm here to help. Yeah. I'm here to help.
Yeah, that FF stuff, some good stuff,
You know, some money making stuff. I got
Sometimes they're intertwined, you know.
you. A little bit. One hand wash the other. One hand wash the other.
Yeah, okay.
Check and balances, you know.
There you go. All right, AG, who you got? Colts or Jags?
I'm going to pick based on what I want, not what I think will happen, and that is the Colts winning. Because I need them to. Because the Chiefs beat the Colts, the Jaguars beat the Chiefs. So
okay, fair enough.
Come on,
fair enough. Fair enough.
We need vintage T-Law to come out. You know,
there you go. And that's not good. That's not a good thing.
Yeah.
That's not a good thing. There you go. Okay, good stuff. All right, Kat, who you got? Colts or Jags?
Well, based upon what you just said, and being the fact that I don't like to lose, I actually did pretty well this weekend. And I'm not a degenerate like that dude in the right corner, but I will take some when I'm allowed. I will take, and also because it f's up that guy down there.
Okay.
But no,
it's a tough one.
Yeah, I'll take that other Florida team.
I know it pains you to say. It, but yeah, I got you. Okay, yeah.
But it also does it help you if the Jags win?
Help who?
Alex, does it help?
I don't. No. I mean, I don't think so.
No, it doesn't. Nope.
Yeah, okay.
No, because the Jags have the tiebreaker over
there
them.
You go.
So no.
Okay. Well then, good. Go Jags.
Hey, Nav man, what are you looking at to get in the playoffs? Oh.
Hey, we're looking at the draft. We got our priorities straight.
Indeed. Yeah, I'm at the again. I think I might have barfed a little bit too
begrudgingly.
Yeah. I guess I'll take the Jags as well. Top run defense. Jonathan Taylor. I think they figured out the blueprint. If you stop Jonathan Taylor or limit him from not running for 3 touchdowns and 150 yards on the ground, they typically struggle. And Daniel Jones has that leg issue now. But that's something to be considered. So yeah, I'm gonna roll with the Jags this week, and and they should keep their ascension in the division running. So I'm gonna roll with the Jags. All right. Looking at the last game, the Texans at the Chiefs. This is gonna be a good one. The Monday Night Football game and the Sunday night game is gonna be really good. To round out the week. So Texans at Chiefs, and the Chiefs are actually favored at home by -4. Who you got, RG?
Oh,
3.5 now, but still favored.
Right.
This is so tough because my heart really wants to say Texans, just because I want to see KC eliminated. Sorry, Alex. But I feel like I do this every week, and just that. Oh, it's the Chiefs, and they, when it comes down to it, they're gonna buck down and they're gonna win. They're gonna dig into that championship pedigree. But man, with the injuries to the Chiefs O-line and with just how dominant that defense looks, I feel like I gotta go with the Texans here. Yeah, this defense is terrifying, and you are getting points with it as well. So give me Texans +4.
I like it. Okay. All right, Violet, who you got? Texans or Chiefs?
Texans.
Okay. All right, short and sweet. I like it. All right, Dub, who you got? Texans or Chiefs?
I am going to take the Chiefs. Stroud doesn't look good to me, so I'm gonna take the Chiefs.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, just that simple. Yeah.
Yeah. Alex, I know what your pick is, but if you want to add any context to why, please let us know.
Mostly just because they're at home. It's the big part. They're 5-1 at home, 1-5 on the road, and they got Stroud out there. So I don't disagree. The defense is scary. Offensive line is very banged up right now. We'll find out a little bit more about that. Really, it might be a saving grace if Juwan Taylor's not out there, but the other ones definitely cause for concern. But yeah, it's gonna be a good close game, as every Chiefs game has been. But I think the saving grace is that it's in Arrowhead.
Okay, fair enough. All right, Captain Jack, who you got? Texans and Chiefs?
What you talk about? Another close game in Arrowhead. Narrowhead. I didn't see a damn close game when the damn Raiders went up there. Yep. I won't say the word because we're on corporate TV. Anyway, just because I'm the comic relief on this show, you guys know that that's the reason why I'm here. Damn it. But I hate to say, I think that, well, shit, I don't know who I'm going to take now, damn it, because it's.
You had a whole thing ready to go.
I hate those damn Kansas City. Love the barbecue there, by the way, really good. I'll say, damn it, my boys from Houston are gonna eke out a victory. I got to see what it is here in the damn playbook thing, though.
Yeah, if it's +4, you absolutely got to take
3.5.
3.5. I would still take it. Chiefs can kick a field goal to walk it off, and you still win. Take that money.
We don't. For some damn reason, they're not giving me those 0.5s here because it's a Houston. Houston is 150, plus 150. And they're getting +3. I wish they gave me the halves. They did in college. I would, effing damn some bitch. I'll be like my, the Bernie Mac some bit, some of a bit. That's what Bernie Mac says, right? The some bitch. Anyway, I'll take Houston in the some bitch way for. Well, if I do 25, well, hell, if I do 25, they win 62. Anyway, I take Houston. My boy's going to win. Houston, that's enough. Damn, I take my hat off now.
Cap is in the kitchen right now cooking up a parlay.
Right. Hilarious. Yeah. They don't call me Coach Defense for nothing. That defense is playing way too good, and they're the underdogs, man. That pass rush is going to eat. They're going to eat and eat and eat. Yeah, it's going to be rough going for KC, man. I got to go with the Texans on this one. And until further notice, I disagree with Dub in the sense that I think CJ Stroud playing a little bit better now. It's slowly, progressively getting better. And if it does peak at the right time and they keep winning games, with that defense playing the lights out as it is, I mean, Derek Stingley doesn't even get thrown at, in a lot of spaces. So he just wipes away your number one receiver. To never be seen or heard from again, that kind of thing. So I would argue that the Texans going to win this one. It could be a close game, but the fact that they're underdogs, I'm taking them for sure. All right. So we'll see how things flow, man, but it's going to be some really good football going on this week, and we're here for it, and we'll be back to cover it on Tuesday and see how things check out. Who will be happy, who will be potentially sad, or who's going to be on the brink. That is for sure. All right, so let's get into our fourth and final segment as we wrap up the show here. Hot takes of the week. I got a really good one for y'all that y'all gonna like, but I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna let the panel go first. Is there any hot takes on the panel that's brewing in your crock pot, your stove, your skillet, your smoker, your slow cooker, whatever you got? Any hot takes brewing for you guys that you want to let the fans know that you have brewing that could come to fruition in the next coming weeks?
Well, I don't know if it's a hot take. I kind of said it earlier. The traffic around Atlanta sucks. That's all I'm going to say. Period.
I could have told you that. Yeah.
Even if it wasn't when people were coming back, because I know the 75 and the 475 and the 575 and the 285. F Atlanta traffic. That's my hot take, and I'm going to stick with it. Because it sucks.
Right, there you go. Okay.
Get the friggin' bells out there, man. It was horrible.
Yeah,
it was horrible.
There's right away hot take. Pete Carroll will be fired. That's a hot take. Okay.
That's the easiest take of the week, man. That's like saying Kiffin's going to be the coach at LSU now.
Indeed. All right. Anybody else?
I kind of had already mentioned it a little bit earlier to my question to you, Coach, but my hot take is the Bengals are going to come out of nowhere and steal the AFC North.
Wow. Okay.
I just don't trust anything that's happening right now. First of all, I don't trust a damn thing that's happening in Pittsburgh, so you can just eliminate them right off the bat.
Or Baltimore, for that matter.
I mean, yeah.
I was gonna piggyback off yours with my hot take, RG. So
perfect. Go for it then.
No. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. I mean, that's pretty much it, man. I just don't trust anything that's going on in Pittsburgh and Baltimore. They just, I mean, I don't know what is going on with Lamar, but
bro,
I mean, yeah.
But yeah, my hot take for Week 14 was that the Steelers were going to beat the Ravens and muddy the AFC North water even more.
I love it. Chaos.
Yeah.
Chaos everywhere.
Some of us just live to watch the world burn.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. All right. Violet, you got anything before I give mine?
It's not so hot because it's already boiling. I think Pete Carroll is one and done, and then he takes his sons with him.
Okay.
Great, thank you. That's the greatest news. Make it happen. Make it happen.
Indeed.
Get your kids and get out.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's funny. Indeed. Their kids be the ones, when your parent moves out or they get divorced, you stay with the other one.
You stay with the other one. Yeah. Now, who they gonna stay with? Yeah.
No. You don't
like
stay.
They fire Pete and his son's like, man, I knew we should have got rid of him. They're like, what are you talking about, bud?
Right, you go too. Go with your dad. Yes, indeed. All right, so my hot take is a little spicy, a little habanero.
Get your hot sauce ready.
I believe that the Indianapolis Colts do not make the playoffs at all.
Ooh, I love it. Love it.
Coach.
From worst to first in a season.
They were 8-2 at one point. 8-2
and gave up 2 first-round picks.
And yeah, who's not playing either right now. So that's another black eye. But yeah, I do believe.
But hey, their owner wears a headset on the field. So.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And you got to remember too that one win they have in their last 4 games was an overtime win in international waters against Atlanta.
Right, and it took a Herculean effort from Jonathan Taylor to even get to that part.
Yep.
So yeah,
technically it wasn't in international waters, but
semantics.
Semantics.
It wasn't on U.S. soil.
Their owner also doesn't wear underwear during the games too with the headset. There's a hot take for you. Okay, friggin' Navman telling me something. She don't wear drawers. How's that? Drawers? No drawers.
Did Navman tell you that, or you knew that?
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to say something about Atlanta traffic. I knew it wasn't a hot. Tell me something you don't know.
No. About the Ursay daughter. Did she? Never mind.
You're about to open up Pandora's box there, Coach.
I don't
Step back before we get too deep.
I was going to say I've been in Pandora's box and it's pretty nice.
Jesus Christ! Oh my God!
Oh, okay. Let's get to the outro.
We'll be right back.
Oh man. Okay. Well,
that's why I'm here. You guys know it.
Oh man.
Well, if you're looking for the hit squad. If you're looking for the hit squad in any facet for Commanders, Chiefs, or Chargers news, please hit those guys up on their social media channels. Any questions are welcome through their DMs. Add them on Twitter. Do whatever you got to do to reach out to them. Please give them a shout. If you're looking for the NFL Nation Live crew, Ref Guru, Violator, and Captain Jack are all on Twitter. For Raiders news and referee questions, they are available to you. Captain Jack is also available on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. So drop him a follow on his platforms as well.
And OnlyFans coming up.
Well,
That's a hot take right there.
That is exclusive content after hours with Cap. Okay. If you're looking for the Lockdown Diva Sports Network in any facet, drop us a line on any of our platforms. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. Please hit that subscribe on the YouTube channel for the YouTube algorithm so we can get this channel to higher heights and deeper depths. Hit us up on Gmail if you want to drop us a line or some detailed information that you want to get out in this social media stratosphere. And for our subsidiary channels, if you're looking for Chargers news and all Chargers content, hit us up on Electric Shock Podcast. We're available on all platforms as well. YouTube, drop a subscription, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and Gmail as well.
And God forbid that you have nothing else to do with your life, with your wife, with your kids, or anything decent. Read an effing book. But no, you got to play FF, fantasy football. But if you're that stupid, then you got to watch the Lightning Fats Fantasy Football podcast with that guy and that guy. That's all I'm saying.
I'm gonna let you do that from now on. I don't need to say anything more. I really don't.
Get away! Read a book.
Oh man, we have lives.
Read a fantasy book. Read a fantasy book.
There you go. We have lives in fantasy. Indeed.
Yeah.
All
My
right.
life is fantasy. All right.
Right. Especially when you're married.
It's a joke.
Because then we'd be here a lot longer as well too.
Indeed. All right. So that's going to do it for us this week. Another great show for the Lockdown Blitz. We are here each and every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time throughout the NFL season. Like I said, hit us up on our social media accounts if you need to reach us in between shows, and we'll be back next week to cover the NFL for Week 14. But in the meantime, between time, that is Coach Mike Dubb, that is Captain Jack Rackham, that is Violator, the real AG Alice Givens, and Young RG. Until next week, we will see you when we see you.
Yeah.
Step up.